Mysore Palace, also called Amba Vilas Palace, is one of the most magnificent and largest palaces in India, situated in southern state of Karnataka. Palace is open to tourists during the daytime on weekdays. Visitors are allowed inside the palace on purchase of entry ticket on a nominal price. Along with festival, another best time to visit the palace is in night on Sundays and public holidays from 7 pm to 7:45 pm when the palace is illuminated. Mysure Palace, also called Amba Vilas Palace, is one of the most magnificent and largest palaces in India, situated in south. The palace had its foundation laid way back in the 14th century by the Wadayar or Wadiyas, the royal family of Mysore. It is believed that Yaduraya Wadayar, the first ruler of the Mysore kingdom. Initially, the palace was wooden fortress which was struck by lightning in 1638 and reconstructed under the reign of Kantirava Narasa Raja Wadayar. In 1793 AD, when Tipu Sultan took over the Wadayar dynasty, he demolished the palace and rebuilt it. In 1799, soon after the death of Tipu Sultan, the palace came under 3rd Krishnaraj Wadayar, who redesigned the palace as per the Hindu architectural style. The Mysore Palace, also known as Amba Vilas Palace, is a historical palace and a royal residence. It is located in Mysuru, Karnataka. It used to be the official residence of the Wadayar dynasty and the seat of the kingdom of Mysore. The palace is in the center of Mysore and faces the Chamundi Hills eastward. The land on which palace now stands was originally known as Mysuru. The old palace was built of wood and thus easily caught fire, while the current palace was built of stone, bricks and wood. The current structure was constructed between 1897 and 1912. After the old palace burned down, the current structure is also known as New Palace. Mysuru Palace is one of the most famous tourist attractions in India after the Taj Mahal, with more than 6 million annual visitors. The architectural style of domes of the palace is commonly described as Indo-Saracenic, with the blends of the Hindu, Mughal, Rajput and Gothic styles. The entire architecture and construction overseen and inspected by an executive engineer of respective division. It is a 3-story stone structure with a marble domes and has 145-foot 5-story tower. The palace is surrounded by a large garden. The entrance gate and arch hold the emblem and coat of arm of the kingdom of Mysore, around which the kingdom's motto is written in Sanskrit, Na Bibaiti Kadachan, which means never terrified. Maharaja Krishnaraja Wadayar IV and his mother Maharani Kempananjammani Devi commissioned the British architect Henry Irwin to build a new palace. E.W. Fritchley worked as a consulting engineer. Meanwhile, the royal family stayed in the nearby Jagan Mohan Palace. Construction was overseen by executive engineer in the Mysore Palace division. He conducted elaborate architectural studies during his visits to Delhi, Madras and Calcutta, and these were used to plan the new palace. The construction cost was placed at 41,47,913 Indian rupees, which is around 30 million adjusted to inflation as on today, and the palace was completed in 1912. The main complex is 245 feet long and 156 feet wide. There are fire extinguishing machines located in all parts of the palace in order to prevent any fires. The palace has three entrances. The east gate, also known as the front gate, opened only during the Dasara and for dignitaries. The south entrance is for public, and the west entrance usually opened only during Dashara. The three-story stone building of a fine grey granite with deep pink marble domes has facade with several expensive arcs and two pillars, smaller one flanking the central arc, which is supported by tall pillars. Above the central arc is a sculpture of Gajalakshmi, the goddess of wealth, prosperity, fortune, and abundance with her elephants. There are three major exclusive temple buildings within the old palace and about 18 inside the central palace building. The palace was built adjacent to the even older Parakalamat headquarters, whose leaders have remained the Rajgurus, the royal teacher and guide of Mysore kings. The kings of Mysore were devotees of goddess Chamundi. Hence, the palace faces the Chamundi hills. The palace houses two darbar halls, ceremonial meetings halls of the royal court, and incorporates an array of country arts, gardens, and buildings. Today, Mysore Palace is managed by the government of Karnataka while it continues to retain the designation of Royal Seat of Maharajas of Mysore. The grand edifice preserves various valuable possessions of Wadiyas, which include sovereigns, jewellery, royal costumes, and paintings. Though the palace is open to the public, meantime, royal family still continues to live in a portion of it. There is also a museum housed within the walled complex called Residential Museum, which incorporates some of these living quarters. No wonder the palace counts among the top historical places to visit in Mysore. The age-old Mysore Dasara festival is celebrated here in its full glory. Over 6 million visitors come here annually to experience the rich history of this magnificent monument. In addition to the grandeur of the structure, the light and sound show and the illumination in the evening are major crowd pullers.